Hey guys, Varuna here. Joining us today we have the main tournament organizer for the World Cup. So tell us about yourself. How did you come to organize the World Cup, and did anyone help you?
All right, my name's Zacharias. I helped it organize the tournament with Greg Fox. Actually started it, laid down like all the groundwork with all the charts and stuff like that and graphs. And he got to the point where people were being rude to him, so he just didn't want to do it anymore and handed it off to me, and I took over from him, and here I am now.
Are you happy with the turnout? How did it compare to last year?
And the turnout was definitely a lot better than last year. I think we had over 100 people in the qualifiers alone, and half of those made it through the regular teams. Qualify. Every team has 3 people on it now, so a total of 52 people, which is a pretty good turnout rate for around the world for a World Cup.
What is the most difficult aspect of running a tournament?
I think the main one for me is hunting people down for their games. The deadline will come up and they wait till the very last minute to play their games and have to really get into them because you don't want to give the other team 9 points. Another one, I guess, is changing rules. A lot of people don't like when you ban certain cards and stuff like that, and you have to face the initial backlash of it. It can be pretty rough.
If you were to compete, who are the 3 warlords you'd bring to the World Cup?
Definitely, everybody knowing me, Saul, Goldman, and Karn. It's a little mixture of all the different play styles, I think.
What is the format of the World Cup, and how is it working so far?
The format of the World Cup is the first stage is called the group stage. They get 3 points for every win and 1 point for a draw. It goes off of each player facing against each other. So if a player gets 3 wins, they play 3 matches and 3 points wins. So they can score for their team a total of 9 points alone in one match if they win all 3. And then it moves on to the elimination stages after 7 rounds. And that in itself is just a best of 3. It's divided into 2 groups of teams. And yeah, they just, after they get to that stage, they just eliminate each other until there's 1 left.
Who are the most common warlords and factions in the World Cup? Are you surprised by any warlords being there or not being there?
The most common warlord was actually Horus, and that kind of surprised me. I mean, I know he's very versatile, but I just was not expecting Horus of all to be the most popular. First, Rabo, and that's a very meta pick, and that's the second most commonly used warlord, followed by Ahriman and Vulcan, with 10 people playing each. Half Legionnaire had about 13, but it's a combination of different warlords. And we try not to tell who their warlord is so it can be a surprise for them. I was kind of surprised the aggro warlords weren't as rampant as they are now. I got here, Karn, there's like 5 people playing Karn, 1 person playing Kabanda, 1 person playing Rom, and not much aggro warlords, and I was kind of surprised by that.
What was the reasoning behind banning the factions Agents of the Sigillite, Night Houses, and Sisters of Silence, as well as banning Crucial Choice and Khorne's Favor?
For Agents of the Sigillite and Sisters of Silence, they have a big power creep compared to the normal cards. And the initial thing, people didn't have access to all those cards, so it wouldn't be fair to the other players that didn't have those cards. But after seeing how powerful the cards were, we were like, yeah, let's just keep them out of there. And the Night Houses, they're just been a very powerful faction. Not a lot of people like playing against them. Crucial Choice was another big card that was worthy of banning due to the fact that it's just purely RNG. I mean, RNG is a part of the game, but swinging the whole game just due to RNG alone is kind of crappy. Khorne's Favor is just a very overpowered card. It shouldn't be in there. Desperate Defense also did get changed, and it was initially banned, but since it got nerfed, it's not banned anymore. That's just probably the reason why we have so many Vulcans in the tournament.
What are your thoughts on the current balance of the game? What would you nerf or buff?
All right, current balance of the game. Khorne's Favor needs to go. I was a big Gyro main just to see that he can kill you on turn 4 and 5, or you can be Cypher. I think that definitely needs to be nerfed. Knights, of course, and of course the Solar Auxilia troops introduced into the game. I think they're way too efficient at what they do, and a good nerfing, I think, would be just taking Survivor off of them and maybe changing the resolution ability to Relentless. I think that would help a lot. And of course, nerfing the Knights and not having them maybe act as fast and be able to use troops and everything at the same time is just overwhelming.
How would you go about nerfing Marcus?
For Marcus, I think there's 2 ways you can go about it. One would be to either increase his cost to 7 or just take away Survivor, or at least not have him use Survivor on himself. I just think that's kind of overbearing on a lot of that don't have access to harder removal.
Before Sisters of Silence was banned for the World Cup, do you think with the recent changes that were made to him, would you allow them now?
Sisters of Silence, they're a pretty good topic. I don't think they're so overbearing as they once were. However, I do let the community vote on issues like that, and everybody overwhelmingly voted to keep them out of it for now. So when we go into the final stages, we are going to be asking about different factions, and if we're going to vote those into the final stages.
Okay, and what would your guess be? Would you think people would allow them then?
I believe with the current state of how World Cup is going, everybody's kind of liking how it is now. And the general consensus from what I've been asking people just in DMs and stuff is that they want it to stay the same with all the same cards banned and the neutral Solar Auxilia cards to be banned too. So I'm thinking we're definitely going to keep it as is.
So Iron Hands just saw some massive buffs. Do you expect to see them during the Warlord changes?
It's good that you asked that. There's going to be two big votes there. And one, of course, is the neutral card, but also the other is we're going to choose whether to allow team players on the team to change their warlords, or we can allow one change per team. And we're going to do a big vote on that and just see what everybody wants to do, or no change at all. But I'm pretty sure with how the Iron Hands are, I'm sure some people will be changing to the Iron Hand due to how good they are now.
Who are the top teams in the World Cup at this time?
The finalists, first place being the Nordics, second place is the US, third is Canada, and fourth is Belarus, plus the Ukraine. I can see very good matches coming from both these teams. They've all played well, and all of them have really renowned players, so I'm really looking forward to some good matches.
Who are the top 10 performing players in the World Cup?
No, Juan, I think he's scored the most points, tied with Lurifac. Both of them have scored 48 points each. Lamia from Team Belarus, he has scored a total of 45. Fourth place is a Pirate, and he's scored 43. And then there's Alex, 87. He's fifth with 39. Van Boning is next with 37, with number 7 being I Am Deer with 36 points. We actually had two Russians with 33 points tied for, well, I actually have a 5-way tie for 10th place, with those players being Kane, Colonel Gaunt, Diamond, Pharaoh, and Grumpy Ghost. So it's been a good mix of points, it seems, for all the teams.
Who do you think is going to win the World Cup?
I'm going to go for the home team and say the U.S. because the U.S. seems that their synergy works really well together, but I do think they're going to have trouble facing France because France is a pretty strong team. Sorry, Pirate. I think Canada's going to go down, man.
Who is your favorite warlord to play, and who is the warlord you hate fighting against the most?
Favorite warlord play is definitely Saul. The stuff that you can do with him and the magic you can work with him is just pretty crazy. Buffing a whole board for 0 mana cost is really good. Putting things out really fast is really good. Just counted a lot of the meta stuff that's out there right now, like Knights and even Prince Robert with Eternias and stuff. Who I hate playing against the most is probably aggro from Saul, but Prince Robert is definitely still will put a run for your money just because you have 30 health and he has 40 and does tons of damage.
What would you like to see added to the game next?
I'm really a big Xenos fan, but I know Elvergil does not have the right for Xenos, but I would definitely love to see Xenos. But realistically, I think they'll probably add Tight Legions and 5th Warlords per each faction.
Would you like to do a shout out to any players?
There are quite a few players I like playing with. I do like give shout out. Gray Fox actually started it, laid down like all the groundwork with all the charts and graphs and stuff like that. He definitely got me more into this game and got me into the tournament organizer aspect of the game. I love my lodge, the Brotherhood. All those guys, pretty great guys. They help me get better with factions I'm not good with. I also like various higher level opponents. I play Pirate, pretty fun guy to play against. Orthanol, really fun to play against. Verona, you're pretty fun to play against.
Thank you.
Just the whole community. I mean, a lot of the higher level communities, just I like playing with them, and it's pretty fun.
Any social media accounts you'd like to share with the audience?
For the newer players, I would definitely recommend using Reddit to see the different posts they have for buying new cards. You can definitely see what to buy and what not to buy. Facebook's good for different videos, and you can see how to play a certain faction or meta discussion, different things like that. That's also on YouTube. YouTube is a big avenue for lots of Horus Heresy Legions information, and definitely the Discord. The Discord has plenty of players that are really good at the game and will love to help people.
All right. Thank you so much for the interview, and best of luck managing the rest of the tournament.
I appreciate that a lot.